Hello, welcome to the Winners Find a Way show and this special edition of Winning Ways with Deborah Gardner. Super excited to introduce my guest today. Going to be exciting. As you know, I am the CEO of Leadership at a serial entrepreneur and president of EOS Michigan. I am a speaker globally over in 17 countries and author of Leading Winning Teams, which I'm super excited about, that I've written with Wiley. And of course, probably most people know me because I spent over 12 years of professional baseball coaching in 3 World Series. And today on Winning Ways with Deborah Gardner, we're going to talk about Guinness World Records. We're going to talk about the 80 Olympics, which everyone thinks we're talking hockey, which we are not. And then also think we're going to talk about Yobo, which people may not or not understand. And we're going to talk about getting off the block. And this is not Jenny from the block. This is Deborah from the block talking about her Arizona State swimming career, ASU star, and well known as a pit bull in a skirt because you bring it. You bring it, right, Deborah? So let's talk
Absolutely.
quickly. Yeah, you got a big speaking career. You've written 6 books. You've done a lot of things. Big show in hospitality today. Let's talk about, you're a competitive swimmer. You're at ASU. You've now you're looking to qualify for the 80 Olympics, and then boom, we have the Winter Olympics, which goes. We beat Russia. Everybody's all excited. Summer, we're going to Moscow, and the U.S. boycotts.
Exactly. A big, huge tearjerker. Yeah, I've been swimming competitively since I was 7 years old and had one dream, and that was to make the Olympics. And my shot was in 1980. I was a sophomore at Arizona State University, loved my school, loved my Sun Devils. And yeah, when we got the news that it was boycotted, it was pretty devastating. So devastating for me that I hung up my cap, my swimsuit. We didn't wear goggles back then, but I hung it up for about 10 years because I was just done. I just could not believe it. Of course, I had to, fulfill my extra 2 years in college. But after that, I was still devastated. I just had to stop. Completely stop. And actually, I look at it as I actually quit. And a lot of people think quitting is a bad thing. To me, from that experience, it actually was a good thing. It allowed me to find myself in another form of my life for about 10 years until I rediscovered the water again. And now I get to look at it a whole different way.
Yeah, and you do a lot of speaking about own your lane, right? Which we all know. You double entendre there with your swimming lane, but you're also talking about own your own lane. Like where are you excelling in? What is your space? Try not to be every lane. If I'm a great breaststroker, you shouldn't be down working with the backstrokers. Like
Right.
know your stuff and where you excel and where you don't. Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You described it beautifully because owning your lane is a mindset. And you always hear, people say, stay in your lane, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. Well, sometimes you don't need to stay in your lane. If you want to grow, you need to move to another lane. If you need to go a different direction, you need to go a different lane. And that is okay. No matter what lane you're in, though, that's where you want to own it. Think about when you're on the freeway. How many times you drive your car into another lane because you want to be faster and go around another car. That's what we're talking about here. And sometimes you have to get in the slow lane and slow things down so that you can think and you can take your time and not get lost when you're trying to find directions to the grocery store or something. And sometimes you have to get off the freeway and you have to just stop for a minute and redirect, reset yourself before you get back on. So own your lane. It's a trademark that I own and I enjoy it because it does, like you said, it refers to the swimming analogy, but at the same time, it can mean for anything. And now that I do open water swimming, I look at the ocean as my lane.
Yeah, and you've returned hard and heavy into the open water swimming, right? Like you've had this resurgence back into your swimming roots. You just set a Guinness record on your swim to Catalina, over 21 miles, which is crazy. And now you're going to do the California Triple Crown, which would be amazing. That'll be fun. You said something to me one day, and you were like, "Yeah, Yobo. I hear YOLO all the time. You only live once." Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
breathing has taken this new role in regulating our system as athletes and settling our system down, like how we're breathing becomes so. And one of the things I knew as a triathlon, I never have really truly felt comfortable breathing in the water, getting that
Yeah.
air. You swallow water, and in open water, you're swallowing salt water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's your stomach over time. It gets worse. I mean, I don't know if chlorine's any better, but like at the end of the day, breathing is a big deal. Let's talk about Yobo.
Yeah, I came up with Yobo because of the Catalina swim, because you're right, you get a lot of salt water, and my tongue was pure white at the end of my swim, to where my throat was like closed and I couldn't breathe very well. I had to live off milkshakes for me for about a week, because it was the only thing I can get down. And I thought, gosh, if we can't breathe, we can't live. And so my other saying, is, why swim? Well, why do I swim? I always answer, why do you breathe? Because bottom line, Yobo is about just, being able to live every breath that you take, and to really focus. And even if you have to meditate and just feel your breath and appreciate and have that gratitude behind your breath every single day. And we do. This is not a dress rehearsal. Our life is not that way. This is it. This is the only breath you get. So that's where Yobo came from.
I love that. I said that to a lot of people. Like, this is not the dress rehearsal, man. This is the deal. This is the life. Like, and for people who have ever been into a theater setting, like, it's a big deal, because the dress rehearsal, you get to go out. Oh, I don't really know that line just right yet. Like, no. This is the show. You got to do the lines right. Like, you got to take it seriously and be ready to go. And I think there are a lot of people thinking, I have this big challenge with kids, because they're coming out of university now. They spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars sometime, and they're now in a career where they have been, like you and I at some point, chosen to be a member of the team. Like, we think you're so great, Deborah, that we want you to come to Arizona State and swim one of the most prestigious swimming schools in the country, and you are chosen, right? And what these kids out of college don't know is, you just got the same thing. They had 120 applicants. They interviewed 12 people. They brought 6 people in. They have done all this stuff, and then they chose you. And you're treating this like your Starbucks job, like my college. I'm still doing my hourly. I couldn't get there at 9 o'clock. Like, no. You were the first round draft choice. You need to bring this like this is the performance. This is not the dress rehearsal.
Exactly. Very good analogy. And I do sympathize with the kids today, because they don't understand it's never given to you. You have to work hard. You have to get out there and really, do your best. And it is a performance. It is a performance. So, college can take you so far, but once you get into the real life, the real experience, that's where you know what you're made of. And that's what determines if you are a winner.
Well, one of the things we talk about is that people think that somehow they're going to avoid competition. Like, what? I don't like competition. Well, wait a minute. You wanted to be the first chair on the violin, and you worked your tail off for it. And to your point, earned, never given, right? Like, oh, well, you learned the violin last year. Yeah, I think you should take Diana's place. Yeah, I think you're as good as Bill now. Like, they've been practicing 12 years. They have done the work. You're not taking first chair unless you earn that. And I think when we go into this life, unfortunately, I believe that there's been a little affinity to take competition out of schools, out of the university setting, out of this academia. Like, listen, it's not that important. Well, when you get into the real world, you're going to find out, like, it's all about competition. If you want to keep your job, you are going to need to sell this. You are going to need to deliver this many reports. You're going to, and the moment they're going to do is, I go, well, Trent, you didn't do as well as Deborah, so I guess I'm keeping Deborah, because she produced 20 reports and you produced 12. I need someone who can deliver.
Yeah. So, but what it comes down to then, when you get out into that real world, your biggest competitor is you. You're
Yeah.
your biggest opponent. You're your biggest enemy. It all comes down to you. And the thing about performance is it's not about when the band is playing, when the cheerleaders are cheering. It's actually happening when no one is watching. So, for example, my Guinness, I had to earn it. I literally had to earn it. And the only way I can earn that is through training. I would be in the pool, the lake, or the ocean. And obviously, there's no band, cheerleader, or fans out there. So
Yeah.
I'm out there by myself. And that's where I knew if I can be dedicated, determined, with perseverance, and stay on my training schedule, I knew I would make it. But I had to do it on my own, but yet those that wanted to go along for the ride, like my 12-person crew, they were able to enjoy this this success as well. But it's all about when people are not watching. Not you
Yeah.
don't perform when you're in front of people and you're trying to impress others. That's not how it works. You have to do it while people are not watching.
Yeah. And I think also people don't know that people are watching when you don't think they're watching, right? Like
Yeah,
you're an
right.
Arizona girl, right? And you know, as the old song goes, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's no oceanfront property. So when you're getting ready for Catalina and you got to swim 21 miles through salt water in the ocean, you're going to have to go train somewhere else because it's not viable in Arizona in entirety, right? And so
right.
then the other thing is you know, we used to call it eyewash, Deborah. Is like someone would give me their bust ass face, you know, and oh, I'm going so hard. Look at me, coach, you know, and then they think I turn my back on them, and
Yeah,
I give a quick look back, and now it's
yeah, right.
and you're like, listen,
Exactly.
man, don't show me
Exactly.
eyewash. Show me the effort all the
Exactly.
time. Somebody's
Yeah.
always watching, and
Yeah.
nowadays with a phone, right? Someone will hold that thing up, and oh,
Yep.
you think they won't get you dogging? They'll
Yeah.
show you dogging,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh look, oh watch this. I had the
Oh,
video camera
absolutely.
on in the pool, and everyone's on the honor method for their
Yeah.
10,000 meters this morning, and it's like, oh look at you know why is Trent getting lapped every
Right.
5 laps, and then he
Sure.
gets out of the pool at the same time as everybody else, and I'm like, well, guess who didn't do 10,000,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right.
Like
Right.
everybody, and,
Right.
and and my
Right.
teammates already know. They all know, and now the video doesn't lie. And you know, this is going to be a solemn, you know, meeting with the coach when I got to go
Right.
back. Well, you know, I just, you know, my stomach was upset. Here comes the losing
Yeah.
behavior, the
Right.
blame, the
The
excuses,
attitude.
the quitting, the attitude. Yes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's move
Yeah.
off that for a second, and talk about getting off the block. Get off the block, you know, like, and I think that I immediately think of the track reference, right, with a starting block. I think about the starting block in a swim, you know,
Yeah.
but I also think like there's a thing that we're stuck there, like we're a little afraid to leave our safe space because
Right.
competition feels uncomfortable to a lot of people. And by the way, it feels uncomfortable to competitors too. They're like, I don't know if I
Sure.
got what it takes yet. And I'm looking
Sure.
at, you know, I'm in an 8-lane pool and I'm looking at 7 other high quality swimmers going,
Right.
do I have what it takes? I don't know if I want to leave the block and get embarrassed. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
about to find out.
Yeah, and bottom line, it's all about get off the block and go. But you can't get that go part unless you understand what that whole motto means. Because you're right, get off the block is can happen anywhere depending on get off your butt. It's the
Yeah.
same analogy.
Yeah,
But what?
the block could be a sofa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But here's the thing, Trent. Fear is okay. Hesitation will kill you. That's the problem there. You can feel fearful all you want, but it's the hesitation. You've got to get that mindset of get off the block and go and not worry about the hesitation and the fear. Again, it's always going to be there. We're fearful of everything, and I'm fearful of even success. That's how silly fear is to me. And yeah, am I out there in Catalina and I'm fearful of what's beneath me? Yeah, but here's the thing: you got to refocus. You got to focus on what you need to get through that fear. For me in Catalina, it turned out it was a full supermoon that night, which means there were 3 to 4 foot swells. And I have never swam in the ocean where I had to fight swells all night long. Literally, it did not start settling down until like 7 in the morning. And I launched at 10:30 that night before. And so I had to not think about what was underneath me at dark when it's black down there. I had to pay attention to what was going on with all the waves coming at me. How am I going to get through them? So each and every wave that came across, actually a kind of a weird crossway, I had to decide, am I going to put my hand, over it, under it, or through it? So I started playing a game with myself because, it was fearful out there. But I had to focus on something to help me get through that. And that allowed me, once I started playing that game, I had no hesitation anymore. And I literally was getting off the block and go. That's how it was.
Yeah, one of the things I hear a lot about, having coached with Coach Saban and having him go to so many national championships, and all the hoopla gets built up around the day, the event, right? And to your point of what we talked about earlier is, there is fear, there's the cameras, but muscle memory really takes over. If you've done the reps, confidence is prep and reps, right? Preparation and repetition. And, when you've done all the reps, once the whole thing gets going, it's back to, what is my job? What is the repetition? I've done this thousands of times in practice. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Now I need to execute on what they've taught me. Stay focused in on what I can do, not what I can't do. Have you seen that?
Yes, absolutely. No perfect condition is going to, be there for you. Environments change, everything changes. For me, the waves, the swells, is as much as I have learned my techniques of open water over and over and over again, those swells, it was like I was in a dishwasher. My body was going all over the place. So sometimes there's not perfect conditions, and you have to accept that. But at the same time, if I did not, swim with those techniques and those skills over and over, I could have probably drowned. I could have been pulled. I would have had that mindset to stop. But instead, I had to swim through that dishwasher cycle that was uncomfortable, but I made it. So, you just have to have that mentality that not everything's going to be perfect when you finally, jump off that block or that dive off that block. So it's, and that's okay. And that's okay. The point is you get off that couch and, because if you do, then you're lapping everybody else that's sitting on the couch, in other words.
Yeah, one of the things I think that you learned along the way, which is really important. I think a lot of people miss this, and let's have adaptability. Let's be able to, adapt to situations. And I'm like, that's good. That's really important. And the difference is that you being able to train through the techniques of what may happen out there and having a go-to to adapt to. I see a lot of leaders like, I need my team to adapt. Well, have you given them any reps to adapt to something? Well, no, they need to do that on their own time. No, they don't.
No.
Like, you've got to give them the repetitions to feel confident in, what do I have to adapt to? And we used to laugh about this in baseball because of bunting, right? You'd have the home run hitter, and then we practiced butting like twice with the home run hitter in spring training, which was, in March. And then it's October, and it's the biggest game of the year. And we're in a situation where if you could just run him over, we'd be you're going to ask this person to adapt in a situation to something that no one ever asks him to do. And he's just going to lay a perfect one down, and it's going to be like, it's not that easy, and he has no reps doing the repetition. And now it's like, I can't believe he couldn't adapt to that. I think we set some of our team up for failure in that. One of the things that I think about when you say get off the block, I compare that to the baseball world, which is the baseball world always is like, you can't steal second with your foot on first.
Right.
Hey, everybody wants to go, I want to take the risk. But hey, I don't want to leave the base and get out. Well, you're gonna have to get out. So Hey,
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
it's such a
Well,
challenge with this folks, and I think that we've kind of lost our ability to take risks. Kids aren't doing it when they're younger. We're not getting comfortable in risk. So when we
no.
ask people to take risks, suddenly they're not comfortable.
Yeah, I think the key here is the reason why leaders have such a hard time is they, you know, helping their players or employees or anyone to adapt is because chances are they haven't lived it themselves. You have to have firsthand experience in order to mentor or teach others. And also, I think leaders get overwhelmed. You know, if I had to think of Catalina as 21 miles, I probably never would have done it. Never would have done it. You really have to take one step at a time and really focus on, you know, what is that overall goal, but how are you going to get there? And leaders do not sit there and take the time with players or employees or anyone that they're mentoring to really break it down into winning bite sizes is what they are. Those winning bit moments so that they can actually feel the progression that is
Yeah.
happening. But instead, like you said, oh, they'll do it on their own time. No, it does not work that way at all. You have to guide them. That's why you are a leader. That is why you are a coach. You're supposed to act like one. And today, I think it's really tough. So because of that, kids in particular have no guidance. They have no direction. They don't know what to do because coaches or leaders don't step in and really recognize it and spend time with each and every player or kid. So I think that is what's missing, like you were talking about. It's definitely missing in today's leadership world.
Yeah, and I think it's a challenge because I think that people think that like, oh, I've been recruited to Arizona State, like everyone's going to spend all this time with me. No, 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 no. There's all these girls on the team, right? And we're going to go
Yeah,
work as a group
yeah,
in 8 of us,
right.
9 of us doing this work today. And the coach is giving us specific instructions. It's for all of us. And then it's going to be, hey, Deborah, get that elbow up. Hey, Julie, yep, lower in the water. Head's got to stay low. Like they're quick tips and this that. You got to be coachable and ready to hear that voice. And man, if you're not ready to be coached, I don't like your chances. Like right
Yeah,
now, coachability is a big deal, and I think that a lot of kids and I've met a lot of people like this that thought I was probably the opposite of this who went to school and like, man, I'm so tired of learning. I'm 24 now and I've gone to grad school. I just feel like I've been learning since I was 5, which they have. So it's 19 years of school. And you know what? I don't want to crack open a textbook or read anything again. Wait till you get to work. You're going to have to learn the whole thing. This is our org chart. This is how we do the manual. This is your script. This is how you're going to do this. The learning's just getting started. And, for me,
totally.
I was the opposite. I wanted to learn everything on the field. I didn't want to learn anything in school. I did the bare minimum. And then when I started getting along in university, I was like, wow, I really dig learning all this stuff. This is what I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
And so I really jumped into the learning. And now here's a kid who at 16, I didn't know what a binding of a book was, right? And now at school at Trent Clark 56.0, I'm reading 10 books a year, right? I can't get enough
Enough.
information. I'm just constantly taking it in, and that's required of me to help my clients grow and keep developing, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was very fortunate to be guided by my parents. My mom was trying to get her college education all her life, but she married a military man who turned into a basketball coach, and then all 3 of us kids had to go through school. It wasn't until she was 76 that she finally got her college education. And then a year later, she went back to get her master's degree in leadership. I mean, how do I compete with that? Right. So here I am, 67 years old, swimming the Catalina channel and ready to do more channels. You never stop learning. And you brought up a very good point about teamwork. If you don't have a teamwork bone in your body, you will fail in life. And I call them belly flops. You will have so many belly flops in life that you're not going to know which way to go, because without teamwork, there's just no way you're going to survive. I know I couldn't out in that channel. Right when I started swimming, my what is called ACRMs, which is how many arm count strokes I had per minute, was at 78. So that means every minute my arms were turning around 78 times. And my kayaker had to stop me. She said, Deborah, if you keep this going like this, you are going to burn out in another hour. You got to slow it down. Now, if I didn't have her with me on that swim, I would have stopped. So you can't survive without your team. Bottom line.
That's a coach, right? That's a coach. I'm going to finish with this, Deborah, because I think this is a big challenge. One of the things that I see is people are not understanding the team environment because they're coming from individual sports. They're coming from golf, tennis, swimming, wrestling. And, I'm kind of on the team, but it's about my numbers. And you talked about, like, we're competing against ourselves. Like, hey, my PR is, 212 and this and that. And then they're like going, oh, but what's Bill? I don't care about Bill. It's my my numbers. That's all I worry about. And I've seen some challenges with people who are like, now you're gonna be a part of the team, and they don't know how. They do not know how to lean into. It's not about you all the time.
Right. Bottom line, you're absolutely right, and I think that's the main focus here today. Is that teams have to step up, and leaders need to step up and create that team environment, get them to understand. And I know when I'm, teaching audiences out there about teamwork and in a very ambitiously way, you just can't survive without it. Bottom line, no matter if it's in an office, on the playing field, or even in your family or friend's life.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with personal relationships, right? Where you're even talking about, you and your husband and her team. Like, we got to be a team. We got to run this household. We got to do these things. Like, we're doing that at that level. And, what they always say, I love that comment. I love that quote that says, hey, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And I mean, I find like, hey, listen, winning and being a part of a winning team is so special. I mean, listen, I've been in the 3 World Series, right? Like, it is a automatic, absolute moment in time that can stop. And I can see these men now, 30 some years later, right? In a couple of these, and we'll be right back in that moment in seconds. As a team, knowing exactly what we were doing, what people were sacrificing to make that, to get to where we wanted to go.
Yeah, isn't that special? That's something you just take memories for the rest of your life with you.
Yeah, and I think this is what you're going through, is you set these Guinness records. Whether you run and keep going, your team is so excited around you because they're so happy to be a part, just even a fractional part of your success.
Absolutely, and that's not only my crew, my 4 coaches, my physical therapist. I mean, they all feel like part of contributing to making this happen. And now I can't wait until the next woman takes the record, because I want her and her team to feel what the joy that we've all been able to celebrate at the same time.
Yeah, it's probably one of the things that's probably the misnomer in sports, right? When you see Djokovic, maybe one of the best tennis players of all time, right? And he goes on that Wimbledon trophy again. Listen, there are 17 people behind him that have helped him. And he knows this, right? Like his parents, his coach, his nutritionist, his travel agent. I mean, there's so much coordination.
Sponsors. The sponsors. I couldn't have done it without the sponsors. It's just a whole laundry list of people that really, and that's the key, is when you're a leader to make sure that everyone cheers for everyone, and it has a special interest in everybody's goals, because chances are they will go different directions, but at the same time, as a team, you'll all end up in the same area, and that's about being a winning team.
Yeah. And so whether you have a, Guinness World Record to pass out to all your team like Deborah does, or whatever you're going for, people, like the winning way is you go together, right? You're a team, be a
Bottom
part
line.
of that. And as you're a contributor in a team, understand that contributors have a place in a team. When all of a sudden you're taking away and you're subtracting from that team, that's when we're looking for new teammates. So you've got to
Yep.
think through that about how do I contribute? How do I get out there? Deborah Gardner, so good to have you on today, competitive performance expert and Guinness record holder.
Thank
Super
you.
excited. Thank you. You can check out Deborah. Tell her where they can find you. I know you're the host of Hospitality Today. Where can they find you, Deborah?
Yeah, I do the podcast Hospitality Today Live for the hospitality industry. But hey, I am always on social media. Pick your favorite platform. I will be there, including Blue Sky. Or you can go to my website, deborahgardner.com. Email me, deborah@deborahgardner.com. Either way, I would love to pick up the conversation here. And if anything, we can talk about Trent.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yes, and for me, folks, if you want to reach out, there's my Calendly. Reach out. You get 15 minutes. I'm happy to help you get unstuck. I'll do a free call with you. I'm always happy to do that. You can reach me at trent@leadershipity.com. I'm happy to pass that link to you. And I will send you a copy of the growth playbook, Flourish. I will send you just for taking that meeting, and I will help you get unstuck. And you'll be a part of that solution, getting you and your team unstuck, which is the only way it's ever going to happen with you and your team, as Deborah Gardner just told you. So I'm super excited for Winning Ways. Thank you for being here every Wednesday, and you can check Winners Find a Way every Thursday. Thank you so much, Deborah Gardner. Reach out to her, find her, bring her in. Top speaker. You were gonna want the pit bull in a skirt. There she is. When she's not in the water, she's a pit bull in a skirt. All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
see. We'll see you next time on Winning Ways.